All right, so we're going to give a quick sort of preview of what Rover AI will look like. So this is the collaboration with Informer on, they're providing a component that we're then embedding within the Rover web interface in order to provide AI functionality. So at the moment, we have it just as another module that shows up in the left-hand menu and it's taking up the whole screen. I think the vision is that it will show up as sort of a chat window that would be on the right-hand side and would fly out when we want to display it. So you can interact with it just like the Chat GPT. So we'll start with a softball question. What is my name? That knows I'm Greg. All right, and then I currently have it looking at a specific data set that we've been testing with that just contains some CRM data. This isn't necessarily Rover data that we're looking at here, but I'll start asking it some questions about that. So I'm going to ask it to show the total number of open opportunities. And you'll notice it's a little slow to respond. That's a sort of a work in progress, trying to improve the performance. We need to work back and forth a bit with Informer on that side of things.
Just in case it's interesting to anybody while that's running. So this is, right, like Greg mentioned, our front end, then an Informer component coming from the intrinsic team. And it's talking to Chat GPT, OpenAI's Chat GPT, about data that lives inside of the Informer tenant that's hooked in for Greg's account. So a prerequisite for customers will obviously be that they're running on Rover BI and they've loaded their data into it. And then we'll manage a Chat GPT license integration on that side of things here. But like Greg mentioned, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, variables in the equation, right? And so still a work in progress with the intrinsic team on, all right, where's the slowdown coming from? Is it the OpenAI side? Is it Informer? Not expecting it's anything on the web side because we're just funneling stuff through, but it's kind of neat to see it come together. That's your big takeaway, though. This is that Rover BI is a prerequisite to getting this functionality when we get to the point where we've released it in.
Mike, did we want to show the Informer interface to kind of give an idea of how the visualizations might work?
If you have it queued up, sure.
So this sort of illustrates, I think, what we're thinking as far as the interface. So on their side, they've integrated it as a more of a window style thing that flies out from the side. In their implementation, they have sort of three contexts. They have the general chat window, which is what we had been looking at. They have a help window, which I honestly haven't played with the functionality here, but I think this would perhaps be the interface where we would wire in our documentation to allow them to ask questions specific to Rover. And then they have a data set view. So when you're getting into data set view, it's now specific to the context of a data set that you've selected. And that's where they've wired in some visualizations. So if I ask the same question I asked earlier, which was show the distribution of opportunities by industry, if I ask it in their interface, it's going to fail the first time to generate a visualization unless they've made some improvement. But then if I ask it a second time, it will show it to me as a bar chart, I believe. So that's kind of cool. And then if we prefer pie chart, yeah. Oh, it looks like you have to ask it twice each time. So that kind of gives you an idea of the visualizations. And as I understand it, that is coming. We should be able to do that within our chat interface going forward as well.
So one of the first ones we've done is we've added a recently viewed option in point of sale. So if you ever go into the search results, and these are all the customers that are related to this user, and you select one, it'll populate that recently searched item. And so we could go back here, see that it populates. And so once you click on a recently viewed, it'll send you back to the same create order page. And so some of the things we've recently added are the order history. We've sort of paired it up a little bit more with the sales module, so you're able to click on a sales order, and you have the option if it's a new sales order to pay for it, or you could view that order. And so this just gives you a window of what exactly was purchased in this particular order, and you're able to download an email or download a sales order or email one. And this uses our mailing UI. Oh, sorry, I did too many things at once. This is our updated mail UI. And one thing it does is it pulls in all the contact information from that customer in the dropdown. And so you're able to just pick one from here, and also has predictive text. So you're able to click that one, and then you're able to send it. Another thing we've added is an aging summary for this customer. You can see that they're over 90 days, about $16,000. So I think they're a little late, but that's just something. This is an old customer with old customer data. So we can go back to parts, and then we've made some adjustments for iPad users. I think I could show that here. Sorry, bear with me for one moment. Small. One thing you can notice is that we updated the icon, so instead of add to cart, now it shows a cart button. And so as you're adding items into your sales or order summary, you're able to see the amount, and then we also have added our discount into here. So this person has a 10% discount, so they're able to view that. And then once they hit create order, they can get their subtotal, discount applied, and if there's any sales tax added, you're able to see that here. I believe this customer doesn't have a sales tax. But from here, you're just able to do, oh, that item is on hold. That's J. From here, now we have this order created page, and from here, you're also able to download and then view the PDF here. And then you're also able to email it from here as well. And it's the same module, so it has all the same contact information. I think that about wraps it up. For point of sale, yeah, so some of the sales UI enhancement we've done is we've made it basically able to open any amount of either opportunities, quotes, and orders. Fortunately, I can't demo the orders portion. It's still the same as it was in the previous demonstration. But if you would just see here, this is basically the same UI. It's a little stale, but essentially we'll be able to populate these orders into this line, and you're able to edit and modify them all at once. And so this is our sort of improved UI for that, for opportunities and quotes. I'm not sure how much things are wired in quite yet. This is still a work in progress, but that's what all the focus has been on with this in point of sale.
So none of this has been developed yet. It's on the list once that sales redesign work is done, and maybe even while that's finishing up, if we can get some of the noise elsewhere reduced down. We'll kick this thing off, but we've got the design minted at this point for what we want accounting to look like for the web. This is going to include hooks into AP, AR, and the general ledger. So Mike and Nicole worked with Sergio to get really intentional about some KPI cards to display here, as well as the flow that they wanted to see that would be most helpful through the rest of the form. You can see, hopefully, it follows a very similar model to the other stuff that we're doing for the web between customers and the new stuff that's coming to sales. search tab interface for things, similar to orders, because this is a page that ties into multiple data sets, right? Having some level of representation of the different data sets, ideally in a nice big KPI card instead of just a section labeled AP or AR or GL, like sales has with orders and opportunities and quotes. And then some visualization of the data from there. So we had some back and forth, and the team decided that, instead of just a straight data table or an alternative view to the data table, like the Kanban cards of the sales side, that it makes sense to chunk out the records from the AP section. There's a bad label here. I guess invoices do is invoices that we would have owed out to somebody else. But split out based off of the scheduling. So a little bit too noisy to try to throw it all onto a calendar view. They felt like it would be cleaner to just chunk it out into the collapsible subsections. So you got that all the way down to showing a preview of a selected record, right? If we picked one of these things here, having that show up below with the full details, and even a preview of the document. Big call out here, right? We did not ask Sergio to redesign any of the documents that we generate. So the PDFs will still show the same way PDFs are generated out of the system right now, but it is something we may come back to and look at with him of, hey, let's take a look at our quote form, our order form, our invoice form, statement form, just all of the PDFs that we have Rover generating, and let's start to put together some newer layout concepts to that stuff too. So that's that. Similar kind of a flow. Clicking into receivables would change the display here. You don't really get to see much of a transition on that one there. And GL is a little bit different from the other two, right? But showing more of that trial balance view of the accounts once you're into here. So I don't know that we got him on the call, but thank you to the accounting team for working with Sergio to go through that design effort.